Hello, everyone. It's my great pleasure to be here today and present my ideas for you, and I hope they're fresh. I'll start by showing you some pictures. As you can see on these pictures, I'm standing beside a beautiful waterfall. It's the Iguazu waterfall on the border of Argentina and Brazil, and it's the largest waterfall system in the world. And as you can see from my facial expression, I'm quite ecstatic. I'm really happy because I was fulfilling my childhood dream of traveling South America and learning about indigenous cultures. Little did I know that only 24 hours after these pictures were taken, I would wake up to having all of my cards and bank accounts blocked and frozen and having no flights back home to Russia, where I was living at the time. As you can see, this was February of 2022. The war between Russia and Ukraine had just started, and that was the moment I found myself stranded in South America. As someone who loves cultures and loves exploring, in that moment, I thought of one system, a system that I had heard from author Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. The hero's journey is a storytelling pattern that is universal all across the world. It's repeated in myths and stories and fairy tales in every single country. And it is about the hero who goes on an adventure into the unknown and face trials and challenges to discover himself and undergo transformations. And then he returns back home victorious and evolved. So I decided, why wouldn't I apply this system to my difficult situation here in South America? So how many of you here have had a tarot reading? Please raise your hand. Okay, I can see a lot of people are familiar with tarot. This universal storytelling pattern is also applied to tarot. You can see that the hero always starts off by being the fool, because only the fool has the courage to step into the unknown and leap with his faith alone. And through his journey and trials and tribulations, he then turns into a great magician who is in charge of all the knowledge and all the tools that he has at his disposal. And the first step to becoming a fool is to accept the call to adventure, to say yes or no to the opportunities presented at you. In my situation in South America, I could stay put and wait for a miracle for someone to save me, or I could decide to continue on my travels no matter what, with uncertainties. And I said yes to adventure. The first step on the hero's journey is to accept the call to adventure. On this step, we have to become foolish. We have to learn to not use our previous knowledge and experiences. As you can see, the fool has some baggage, but he doesn't rely on his baggage or his stick, which represents knowledge and prior achievements and experience. You have to be foolish to make the leap of faith into the unknown. After you make the leap of faith and step into the unknown, we go into the second stage. This stage is called trial because it's quite difficult. You will face with challenges, face your own shadows, slay the dragon, kill your enemies, go through all sorts of difficulties to come out victorious and learn more about yourself. In this part, I faced outer trials, and they were quite straightforward. I had no access to my funds. I was stranded in South America with no return flights. I was feeling quite scared and uncomfortable physically because I couldn't afford comfort or luxury. So it wasn't a very pleasant vacation, as you can see. And I had no idea what to do next, no plan, as someone who loves to plan. And besides that, I was facing inner trials as well, and they were more grave. I felt isolated and alone because I was alone on my journey in South America, 12,000 kilometers away from home, away from family and relatives and friends. I felt afraid and uncomfortable. I felt lost, not having a plan, and I also felt like I have failed. Because as someone who solves problems for a living, as a coach and advisor who helps their clients, in this moment, I felt like I couldn't even help myself. I didn't have answers, and I couldn't help my clients in Russia and Ukraine who were facing a lot of challenges in this difficult time. So, how did I become the magician in the end? How did I go through my evolution? You see, to become the magician, you have to learn to overcome challenges and transform in order to win as a new you. You will never win as an old you in your old identity, but you have to totally transform. I had my outer transformation, my outer evolution. It came first in the form that I was able to travel through 5 countries across South America. And I did it only by bus. Because simply I just couldn't afford plane tickets, or I couldn't book them because I didn't have access to cards. So I crossed the whole continent from Brazil to Peru by bus alone. I survived on minimal funds with no access to cards or bank accounts, so I had to really learn budget, although I did study finance in university. And I also managed to connect with people, find connection beyond language, beyond culture, meet new people, meet new teachers, and have new friends. And I also learned to survive with minimal comfort. I was meditating for 1 month in the Amazonian jungles, just eating 1 meal a day. All of that had led to my inner evolution as a person. On this journey, my first lesson was to let go of my old identity, of the idea of who I am, my prior achievements in coaching, helping 1,000 clients and students. Because all of that experience is no longer relevant right in this moment, in the unknown. So I had to become foolish again, let go of my identity, of my knowledge and achievements and experience, just to go back to 0. In order to jump to 1. By letting go of my identity, I learned to truly accept myself and face my emotions, face my greatest fears, the feelings of shame and guilt and the unknown. I learned that emotions are not something scary. Emotions are not your weakness. In fact, they can be the source of your greatest strength and power. By facing your emotions instead of suppressing them, you can transform them and come out with more empathy, with more motivation, with more authenticity, which helps you be more confident and connect better with people. Connect through empathy, through understanding. And also, all of that insightful experience had allowed me to learn from the greatest teachers, from healers and maestros. Even though I didn't speak their language, they were able to communicate with me and share their knowledge on healing, on psychology, on different matters that I didn't know about, just because I was so open, so foolish, and so fresh to listen and hear and look with my eyes, ears, and my spirit. Through all of that experience, I gained a lot of courage. And as if by a miracle, after all of that evolution and transformation, outside, inside, in the unknown, I received a call from a client 3 months after I was staying stranded in South America. And my client told me that they were so inspired by my story that they decided to help me in any cost, and they found a way to get me back home. And that's how I left South America after 3 months of learning about myself and the world. In this experience, it gave me so much courage to let go of old identities and to face my weakest moments. It gave me so much courage when I came back home, I decided that I would move to Vietnam after 28 years of living abroad. I decided that I would participate in Miss Universe Vietnam 2023 with no prior experience in modeling or pageantry. And I decided that I would openly and authentically share my stories, use my voice for greater good, and also embrace the mission of emotional empowerment, of helping people face their shadows, face their emotions, and come out an evolve and transform version of themselves so they can also do more good. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with one single step. And in the case of the hero's journey, you start with answering the call to adventure. So the question I have for all of you today is, what call to adventure can you answer right now? Thank you.